This is the Field Notes Expedition Notebook, and they say you can destroy this. You can burn it, drown it, run it over, it will still survive. And I have been driving across Canada for almost a month now, so I decided to actually test this claim. And by the way, I am not the only one who tried to break this thing. In 2013, explorer Ben Saunders took this exact notebook to the South Pole, retracing Captain Scott's original unsupported journey on foot, which is just so cool. And if it can survive that actual expedition, it should survive me, right? So first of all, we have to talk about why anybody would think that a paper notebook would survive fire, water, or any other damage. And it's because it's not actually paper. And once you know what it's actually made of, it will make a whole lot more sense. This here is a material called UPO. And it's a synthetic material extruded from polypropylene pellets at a plant in Chesapeake, Virginia. I think I just made a bunch of enemies somewhere in Virginia. But essentially, this is plastic. And the funny thing is that I already had quite a few sheets of these because I went to this art workshop and Legion, the paper company, gifted us a bunch of paper, including UPO. This was originally made to be a packing material so your goods that you were shipping across the ocean or whatever wouldn't get damaged. But artists fell in love with this thing. But because it's plastic, it has a bunch of properties that makes it actually indestructible. It's fully waterproof. You can't actually tear it apart. And instead of catching on fire, it just melts. And this is the only test I skipped for this video because I'm not starting a wildfire for a YouTube video. But I did drown my notebook in Lake Superior to test it. Here goes nothing, I guess. Okay, let's see. The notebook looks like a notebook still. Of course we have some sand in it, but the paper is still kind of okay. It's not tearing. So yeah, it's fully waterproof, but you can actually tear it apart depending on how you do it. The only way to get pages out of this notebook is to do it at the folds. But if you just take the paper of the notebook, I can try really hard, but it will just bend a little bit. And honestly, I think this is a feature and not a bug. Because if you want to hand someone one page from this notebook or you have to send it out because you are actually on an expedition, you can just get the sheet out and do that. But your notebook will still stay put together. So the claim that this notebook cannot be destroyed is kind of true. But being a survivalist isn't the same as being actually useful. And this is where this test is going to get interesting. Because it's plastic, the ink from your pens or whatever can't soak into the paper as it normally would. So you have to use stuff that will stay on top of the paper. And here is where I kind of disagree with what Field Notes is telling you about this notebook. They say ballpoint pens are a great way to use this. I wouldn't say so. I would more likely recommend a pencil, colored or normal, or a permanent marker. Because those are the two things that actually survived my Lake Superior test the best, except that I accidentally used some water-soluble pencils. Those washed right off because I was stupid. Okay, so these are the writings from yesterday, and it looks like the permanent ink is still holding up, the pencil is still kind of holding up, and the colored pencils are also kind of holding up. The Tombow waterproof ink is still running now that it got wet, and the document ink stained the paper enough that it doesn't smudge anymore. So yeah, just be mindful about your writing supplies. So my husband always says that he has the best ideas in the shower, but by the time he gets out, he kind of forgets them. I have put one of the notebooks in the shower for him, and I also put a permanent marker there. So he can just do his little journaling in the shower without destroying his notebook. And on the first day, it worked amazingly. But then we realized it takes days and days to try this notebook out because whenever wet plastic touches wet plastic, they're just sticking together and you cannot do anything about it. Even after my Lake Superior test, I had to try this notebook out for 4 days maybe. Like every day I have put it out in a different way, trying to get pages off of each other. I mean, you can still see some. Can you see? I still have some sand in the notebook. That's so funny. So if your plan is that you want to journal in this notebook, then get it wet and write in it almost immediately. That will not work. Which is a shame because I think that would be such a big selling point. So yes, this notebook was tested in a shower in Lake Superior on the South Pole. I even jumped on it near this huge loony we found on the way from Toronto to Calgary, and it survived every single thing. But I don't think it has a spot in my journaling routine. But for example, if you are frequently hiking across river crossings, or are on a boat a lot, or just want an indestructible notebook in your pocket because why not? Then you will love this. Maybe even if you are a firefighter and you need a notebook in your pocket but you don't want it to be flammable, this could be fun. Just don't expect it to behave like a normal notebook, because it is not. And I'm going to see you in the next one.